as in putting a cap over a city. This is one of the fighters that we were talking about in Washington. Yeah. The military is expected to return control of these skies back to the civilians, to the FAA. Sometime later today, but right now all the skies over the United States are controlled by the U.S. military, and these types of pictures, these scenes are being seen in cities around the country. Now, elsewhere, the U.S. military is has put some warships and aircraft carriers out. They have been put out along the West Coast and the East Coast. Along the East Coast, 2 carriers and 5 warships. On the West Coast, 1 carrier and 14 warships. That also covers Hawaii. Now, here at the Pentagon itself, even this morning, are still out there in the rubble. They're going through the area, combing through the rubble. They do not expect to find any survivors here, but they say that around 200 people died in the attack, and they are now searching for the bodies, for the remains. The FBI is also here looking for evidence to help build its criminal case. And officials are also out looking for the black boxes, the voice and the data recorders from the aircraft. And it's believed that the discovery of those boxes could be very important and perhaps could answer the question of whether the hijackers actually intended first to attack the White House before turning the plane toward the Pentagon. And that is still being debated as to whether that was the case, and perhaps those black boxes, if found, could answer that. So a lot of things are going on here at the Pentagon, and probably most importantly for the officials here at the Pentagon, they are saying that the building will be fully operational tomorrow. At least all personnel will be here tomorrow, although half the building is shut down, shut off, cordoned off by armed guards because of the attack earlier this week. Back to you.
Mark, can you tell us more about the scene, the mood at the Pentagon? We've had this picture of the Pentagon with a huge American flag. Can you tell us something more about the mood?
Well, there's a sense of pride here in what they do and a resolve to do what needs to be done next. We don't have any sense of a timetable on that. But there are a lot of people who are walking around this building talking about what happened to them. We had a captain walk in here talking about where she was when the plane struck, and also talking about the fact that her husband, who also works in the building, was very near the spot where the plane hit. And she talked about that moment when she placed the call to her husband to find out what happened to him. The same sort of stories that we hear in New York are being heard here. When it all boils down, it's a human story more than anything else.
Mark, thank you.
And for every victim of Tuesday's attack, there are many broken hearts. Families and friends are beginning to come forward now to give a human face to the tragedy. They're telling the stories of the loved ones they've lost.
This is a painful time for my family and all of America. My brother was Charles F. Burlingame III. He was the captain of American Airlines Flight 77. Chick was a Naval Academy graduate appointed by the President of the United States. He was a Navy fighter pilot and a recently retired decorated captain in the U.S. Naval Reserve, and was a seasoned captain for American Airlines. He grew up right here in Southern California, graduating from Anaheim High School. He was a longtime Angels fan, and he loved the Lakers. Today was his birthday. He would have been 52 years old. He was a beloved son, father, husband, brother, and friend.
A long healing process is also beginning for those who did not perish in the attacks. Every survivor has a story, as our colleague Paula Zahn learned a short time ago.
We were on the 98th floor of 2 World Trade Center. It was about a few minutes to 9. We were at our desks, and the person who sits behind me, thank God, Sandra, was the first to see the flames that were coming from the impact from 1 World Trade Center. And she screamed, "It's a bomb, let's get out of here." And that just sent us all running. We ran to the staircase. We ran down 20 flights of stairs from 98 to 78. And I was so lucky I got on the first elevator down. And it's the express elevator down to floor 1. When we got to floor 1, we had people telling us to just get out of there, get out of there. And as soon as we got to the door leading to the outside, we heard this noise. I call it the sound of destruction, because that's all you could really think that it was. And you just heard this massive sound. What I later learned was the plane crashing into the building, and debris falling, and people screaming.
Important players ever since Tuesday's dramatic events include the emergency workers who've risked their lives to help. One New York doctor rushed to the area of the Twin Towers carrying only his medical bag and his video camera, and we were able to show you some of the footage Dr. Mark Heath shot on Tuesday shortly after the disaster. Now we've had a chance to talk to him. Here's his story in his own words.
They told me just to wait here at this semi-staging area, see if I can help, and that's what I'm doing. My name's Mark Heath. I'm a cardiac anesthesiologist at Columbia Presbyterian on 168th Street. We saw that 2 planes had flown into the World Trade Center, thought that they would need all hands on deck. So I hopped into some scrubs and grabbed some medical stuff and just grabbed, an ambulance stops. I hopped in. Maybe leave the keys in the car so they can move it if they have to. Is there a staging area?
They're evacuating this whole area.
Yeah, but they had people who are hurt, right? They're going to pull them out.
Estimate is we probably lost 200 firefighters.
Oh, my God.
And God knows how many thousands of people.
Yeah, okay. So you want me to wait right here? Okay.
And stay away from any other high-rise building.
Okay. Let's just station up right here, okay? All right, Doctor. Why don't we set up? We were instructed by a fire chief to start setting up a staging area right there. Then the second building came down. I videoed what I could, got behind a car. I hope I live. I hope I live. It's coming down on me. Here it comes. I'm getting behind a car. Everything went black. My eyes are open, and unless I've been blinded, it is black as night. Just tried to breathe. I was behind a car. I tried to smash one of the car windows so that I could climb into the car and get some fresh air, but I couldn't break the window, so just sort of went down into the gutter under the car. I'm sorry I came down. I just had to help people. I think I actually said into the microphone, I sort of apologized to my family for going down and trying to help, because I really didn't think I was going to make it out. Okay, I'm going to have to go find people who need help. I don't think I'm one of them. You okay, sir? Okay. Can I just get a toot off your respirator? Yeah. Can I get a toot? I'm seeing a couple of clean breaths. It was hard to see. Everybody's eyes were full of dust and stinging, so it's actually quite hard to see anything.
Yeah. Okay.
Back to you. It's 10:41 a.m. I can't do very much because I can't see. My eyes are full of stuff. There was initially complete disarray. All the emergency crews, the firemen, the policemen. Do you have an extra mask?
No, I just gave it out. You all right, Tom?
Yeah, I'm good. See if we can help anybody. They won't let me go any closer. No one can go in to get the people out. There's small explosions still going on. So they have hurt people over there?
Yeah, they got people over there. We've been pulling out. We've done about 3 trips already. Also.
Okay. Having seen the buildings come down, I was expecting an enormous number of casualties, and it is striking how few injured people there actually were. I think, unfortunately, a lot of people who were in the building perished in the building.
And nobody moving on the Bell Parkway on the westbound side up and beyond Pennsylvania Avenue.
It's not a thing that you think about. You just move, try to get out of the way. That's it. be thankful that I wasn't in closer. The bravery of the people who went in there is something else. You know? It's just a wasteland.
The words and images of volunteer rescuer Dr. Mark Heath.
For all the people directly touched by the devastating attacks, many others were simply touched from a distance. Across the country, they're coming together to remember the victims and pray.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound.
Members of Congress held a vigil Wednesday in the rotunda of the U.S. Capitol. Lawmakers from both parties are expressing solidarity in the face of tragedy. A public memorial was held just outside the White House Wednesday night. One man said he turned out to support President Bush as he decides how to respond to the attacks. 1,000 people gathered in New York's Washington Square Park, not far from the site of the devastation. They held a candlelight vigil to remember the victims. Officials have said they expect the death toll to reach into the thousands. The coordinated attacks on New York and Washington did more than just physical damage. They shattered the American assumption that bad things just don't happen here. As Ann McDermott reports, many people in the U.S. have been left ill at ease.
These visitors are stuck in L.A., so they idle over breakfast and hope for open airports, which scares them to death.
Like right now, in this moment, I'm just not ready to get on a plane.
So she's going to drive from California to Maryland, and everyone at this table understands.
We're going to be nervous for a long time.
Maybe only the littlest among us are not. But listen to this little one's mother.
The scary thing being what's going to happen next, and knowing this is just the beginning, and that there's going to be something that's going to happen next. We don't know what that is.
Maybe another high-rise plane crash? Images like this give magazine editor Wayne Friedman, in his own high-rise, lots to think about.
And I realized, whoa, yeah, that's a consideration. That's something I should be wary of.
But Friedman said this image was worse.
That's when it really affected me, when I was watching these people dangling off the edge.
People are scared, but most say they won't let it take over their lives. Like this Russian immigrant, now a U.S. citizen.
I have been in Italy, I have been in Austria, I saw Europe, I lived 32 years in Russia, but this is the best place in the world.
But this best place in the world is different now. Just ask the people at this seniors complex in Los Angeles. People like Jules Berlinski, who landed on Omaha Beach on D-Day, but never saw anything like this. Ask Beatrice Lowe, who lived in New York, loved its skyline, loved the Twin Towers.
It was so beautiful. Then this happens. God, where are you?
Berlinski has a question for the terrorists.
Wherever they are now, I'd like to ask them, was it worth it?
Ann McDermott, CNN, Los Angeles.
They told us